After we told you that, you want to tell us about your fantastic family?
Yes, well, we got married, my husband and I, back in the UK. I came back to the UK when I had finished my work in the Gold Coast then. Or I think I was Ghana. And we got married. Then he had left the teaching business in Achimota and had joined the Foreign Service. He joined the Foreign Service at its inception, and he was posted to London. So I joined him here in '58, and we got married. And then he was posted to Israel, and we left the UK to go to Israel. You know, it was interesting to see the holy places, which one has read in the Bible. Not all were there, a lot were destroyed, but we saw quite a bit. And it was very interesting. Israel wasn't a very nice post, I would say. There was a lot of tension because the Palestinians were there, and most of the places that you call historical, were occupied by the Palestinians. So at the weekend, everybody will flock to, that is the diplomats, we all flock to Jordan. And that's where we spend the weekend. Because the Muslims have the Sabbath on Friday and the Jews on Saturday, which means sundown on Friday to sundown on Saturday. So then we would come back to Tel Aviv because Jerusalem was a problem. Come back to Jerusalem. And so that's where we were living when our first child was born. And we called him Sabra. Sabra means made in Israel, or produced in Israel, or whatever.
Tell me about Sabra.
Sabra, S-A-B-R.
Yeah, tell me about him.
Sabra was born on, was it
23rd, I think. 23rd January.
23rd January. Yes, that's right. And we were still in Israel, and then the Israelis were looking for friends, people who would sympathize with their situation, and Paul Nkrumah opened a mission in Israel, and my husband was what they call charge d'affaires, that he wasn't ambassador, but he was the one who was looking after things. And so the house where we were living, he was the sort of person who always wanted to use the money, properly, not waste money. So our house was a mission, and in the morning I had to do my work very quickly and go upstairs, and then the sitting room and dining room, and that was the office, and that's how we carried on until he found a place, a building that was in progress, and he put down some money, and they started to build it for us. And so Sarah was born there, and the Commonwealth countries were very, very close, and that's how you could live in that place, because it's a difficult post. It is difficult, and you have to be very careful with the Israelis, because they too were looking for friends, and they have the big friends, the Americans, the Canadians, and so those who have come from there to serve in Israel were very, very careful how they write reports to their headquarters back home, because if you don't write properly, there are people in the foreign service in their countries, and you can lose your job or you will. They are very, very difficult people. You have to live among them, so I can sympathize with the Palestinians at the moment. Anyway, we were in Israel when one Mr. Padmore visited.
George Padmore.
Padmore, yes, Dr. Padmore visited. And my husband, he saw the work he was doing. And his last evening, I think he stayed a week. His last evening, the mission gave him a dinner, and when at one of the hotels, and or the hotel, because they had only one hotel, King David Hotel. So since my husband was driving him, they passed the house to have a coffee. And you see, if you go into the Bible, there's something there that if you eat meat, you don't drink milk. Yes. And because it says, thou shalt not mix the meat in its mother blood, or something to that effect, So even sometimes when I was, having, let's say, my meal, and I hadn't taken any meat, so my husband could come and sit with me because he had meat and he wanted coffee. They wouldn't serve him coffee on my table because there's meat had been eaten. They were that strict.
Right.
Anyway, we had Sabra there, and not long after, we were in our second year when my second child was, on the way.
Oh.
And it was very difficult to manage, but we managed. And Padbo had gone back home, and had told Kwame Nkrumah all sorts of things, how he was doing, how, he was holding the Ghana flag and all that, So Padmo said, you should let him come home to help you to, really get this foreign service going.
Right.
And so we had to rush back home. And as soon as the second child was born, we had to go back home.
And the second child's name was?
That's Nana, the second one. Sabra was the first one.
And who's the second one?
This is the second one.